Hey, from our Gordon Bennett studio. We always start off with our studio on the field, Sam, and then we move back to becomes our home for the next few days while we do the race. This is Gordon Bennett. Let's have a look at the clock. Just coming up onto 21 hours since we launched. Current standings: Poland 1, 668 kilometers. USA 3, 677. USA 1 on 680. Poland 2, 686. And Belgium 1, 690. Not much in it at the moment, Sam.
No, they're all really closely tied together in a stream of air that's not really all that wide. And so you can see the distances and the speeds are relatively all the same.
We're going to be having a look at the tracks and a bit of analysis of what's going on a little bit later. But let's just rewind 21 hours and let's just talk about yesterday afternoon. What a special moment it was. What a great location. We've actually got some beautiful drone shots which show the sunset as we were getting ready for launch. What a great day, Sam.
That is an incredible shot. I was obviously standing on the ground, but this is the first time I've actually seen it from the air like that with the backdrop of the castle. What a setting for a gas balloon launch.
Yeah.
Incredible. Beautiful. My day started off really magnificent. I was able to take a hot air balloon ride and launch from that very spot yesterday morning at 7 o'clock and then come back and take part into this magnificent launch. And the crowd that I saw last night, particularly with that video that you showed that had all the cell phones lit up, and it was an incredible scene to see.
It was pretty emotional, actually. It was, the national, it always is with the national anthems playing, but that big crowd last night and the big party atmosphere, it was absolutely beautiful. It really was. So we went into the night and then we had the morning, of course, and we've got some great images here from Germany 3 talking about their morning. Let's have a look.
Yeah, good morning. Out of the basket from Germany 3.
Hi. We have a nice night, not too cold, a little bit at the feet, but it was okay and it was very stable. Now we are on our track to Spain.
With beautiful weather over France, and we will go on our trip to the south of Europe.
Bye to the ground.
Bye.
And also sticking with the German teams, Germany 2, we had a good look around their panoramic view from their basket. Let's check it out.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
From Germany 2 in the skies over France. I give you a little bit of our view we have up here in the basket. It's a nice afternoon over France. Perfect weather, warm sun after the night was a little bit cold, and we are enjoying the scenery with Gerhard, of course, and the Sonso balloon flying next to us. There he is. Glück ab, Jungs.
Glück ab.
Just brilliant video, and we were just saying there, you can see the other teams are all quite close together, like a pack moving forward.
They are, because the launch last night, they were really going off at about a 2 to 3 minute increments.
Yeah.
And so they were all pretty stacked well close together. And you can actually see that in the tracks on YB track. And today, they're all relatively close. So I know it's really interesting to be able to just see your competitors only a few kilometers away.
Well, let's get into it. Let's get it on the screen. Let's see what's going on. Sam, over to you.
Well, you can see here that they're all relatively close together. The wind conditions that they all have relatively all the same, about the same altitude, about maybe 1,700 meters above the ground. And the wind speeds are all relatively the same. I think that you're really going to see this pack stay close together, at least until closer to nightfall tonight, and then certainly tomorrow morning you might see some changes. It was a little interesting earlier when I saw Belgium 1 looked like they were making a change, so I zoomed in on their track to see if I could determine what they were really doing, and it was really just a momentary decrease in altitude, and then now they're already on their way back upwards. So you can see that they've made a correction.
So it's looking like everybody going into the night.
It does indeed look like that. And this map here really shows the calm weather, the clear skies that was reported from the Germany basket. You can see that we've got weather to the east. We've actually got weather off to the northwest. but all these clear skies going all the way here through France and into Spain. This 24-hour delay really set up a great race with good weather.
So looking for tomorrow morning, what you're thinking? What are your predictions for tomorrow morning where we might be?
Well, as indicated in one of the videos that you just saw, that the German team says they're heading to Spain.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a secret that they're all heading to Spain. But really what's going to get interesting is in tomorrow and then perhaps into the next day. What happens is they get close to the coast of Spain and all the way over here into Portugal. You can see one of the tracks. This is 48 hours, so you can see that the altitude here is at about 2,500 meters above the ground, whereas this one's more or less 4,500 meters above the ground. So you can see that this is the preferred track. Get them into Spain, and then we'll see what happens right here, because this is really when it's going to get interesting toward the end of the race.
Can you talk me a little bit through your role in the command center, Sam, how that plans out on an hourly basis?
We're pulling 6-hour shifts, and we're being available for ATC clearance if they need it, or any other kind of assistance that we can provide here locally.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, the other untold story that we like to touch on every year if we can is the chase cruise. It's always a big adventure, isn't it? Heading off. I always think at one point we should have Gordon Bennett TV included in the chase crew. We get our Starlink and off we go with the studio. But what's going to happen with the chase cruise and what's their journey like? Well, I know they're watching right now from Germany too, and it's Amelie and it's Louisa. Let's check in with them.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
We're Amelie.
And Louisa.
And we're the crew of Germany 2. And right now we're having a little break in the middle of Belgium somewhere. And
we will show you some insights in our trip so far.
Have a good day.
Bye bye.
Now we move back to the USA Team 1, Noah Forden and Brenda Calishaw make their way to the centre.
It's getting cold a little bit, as you can see with Matthias' clothing. But I will change in a minute as well. Yeah.
So of course the driver of the vehicle is not watching Gordon Bennett TV. It's only the other people in the car. Have you done this chasing over long distance, Sam? Have you been part of that at any point?
I have, and it's quite extraordinary because it's an adventure in itself.
Yeah.
These young ladies actually stayed here at the hotel last night and left early this morning. Gave them a chance to get some rest and then get on the road. As you can see, that they're full speed ahead, driving down to try to follow those balloons and beat them into Spain.
What an absolute adventure. Let's just take a little break and check in with our sponsors, and we'll be back in a few moments.
It is not the hours, minutes or seconds that define us, but generations. The watch collection from the Tuttimer family. Discover more at tuttimer.com.
Welcome back. It is Gordon Bennett TV. I'm your host, Regan Tetlow. Sam Parks joins us in the studio. We've got 3 live shows for you every day while the race is going, starting at 10 a.m., 5 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. So make sure you come back tonight as well. The long distance gas balloon world championships, the 67th Coupe Aéronautique, Gordon Bennett. What a pleasure and a privilege to be here, Sam.
Regan, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. Gordon Bennett Live TV coverage is wonderful for our sport. Please keep up this good work.
Keep your messages coming through as well. We'd love to hear from you. Let's check in with producer Mark and any social media questions we've got.
I think we didn't do all the job yet about this explaining what is it about Africa. Is it in or out? Are they allowed to fly to Africa? And
yes, great question. Africa is actually out. So if they were to cross the sea into Africa and land there, that would be a disqualification.
And then there was another message here on Facebook, basically just telling people how could they get started to do gas ballooning? How can they get into this race?
You know, and that's really the benefit of this kind of coverage that you're providing, because people are getting interested in the sport. Yeah. And that's really what we want. Through the Balloon Federation of America, at least in the United States, there are clubs in which that you can get your gas balloon training.
Right.
And we would love to encourage people to come out and chase as the young ladies are doing.
Yeah.
That's a great way to get started in this, and then maybe take some pilot training and get that pilot's license.
We really appreciate all your questions. Anything else there, Mark?
Yeah, we have one more question actually from somebody watching from Mississippi, where a lot of balloons landed last time. He just wanted to hear the story behind Switzerland 1. I'm not entirely sure whether he means the story about him landing last year, like Balthasar early on, or whether Switzerland 1 taking off later this year. So maybe we take that pose.
Well, I can speak to Balthazar's issue last year. He actually had some battery problems, and he basically lost all power. And without the power on board, then you lose the ability to speak with the authorities, ATC, air traffic control, which is very important, but also the navigation devices, and be able to communicate to the ground crew. So he just felt like that was the safest thing to do, and he landed at the first earliest opportunity. However, if you're referring to Swiss 1 this year, they also had a technical problem, not the same balloon this year, and also not the same team, but they had some power problems. And so they really had to address some of those technological problems there on the field. And you can take a pass. And if you do take a pass, you go to the end of the line, and you launch after all the other balloons.
Well, it's funny you would mention Swiss 2 and technology and his battery powers for last year. It just happens to be our next VT, which is lined up. Let's check in with Balthasar and Swiss 2.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I am in the basket of Switzerland 2. My co-pilot sleeps here on this beautiful shadow tent, and I thought I'd show you quickly some of the most important instruments we're having to work with. Now, one of the most important instruments we're having is the moving map display. You see our symbol here. This is this aircraft here. You see the breadcrumb trail we're coming. You see some overlays with wind information on the ground. That doesn't help us much. But what is quite interesting here to see is are the symbols of neighboring aircraft. You see the balloons. You see also a ultralight just about 600 feet above us. And the other balloons, which are transmitting ADS-B out. You see them quite clearly. So in this display, we have all the information we require, like what we have been looking at a bit more intensively is this restricted area 2. You see this red shadowed area around Avor, and you see if we click on it, then there is a display showing us the different airspace layers. This is now restricted areas. That means there are special rules in place. However, we just communicated with air traffic control that this restricted area is not active on the weekends. So we are just to show you, we are about making now a bit bigger, about 46 miles away, or about 40 miles, something like that, from entering into this airspace. You see, there's a little measuring instrument with which we can measure distances, and which is very handy also. And 46 miles, that means in about 2 hours we would be there. So we had to clarify what the conditions are. We still have the red dots. The redder the worse. These are possibly nuclear power plants. Let's see what happens if I tip on that one. Yeah, there is a very red area, which is a so-called prohibited area, so we cannot enter it. And on top, there's a restricted area, but this one is, as I said, not active. So the lower one is active. So we have here a lower limit of 3,700 feet, which we should not violate. But you see this little double line here. So that's our flight level. All good, all under control. We're all good, and all is fine. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back with more interesting content from a life of a balloonist.
Amazing, the technology that's available, that's out there as well. And it's interesting to know of the 21 teams, how level they are with technology.
You know, technology has really changed long-distance gas ballooning. You know, back in the old days, all you had was just a manual altimeter, variometer, and, of course, a aircraft radio. But nowadays, with the Starlink technology, with a satellite, you can actually beam up and catch the satellite. Now you have internet in your basket. And you can see some of the technology advances that Balthazar was actually showing in his basket. Yeah. And it provides them really modern day technology, where in ballooning, it's something that you don't normally think about. But he's got a little studio there in his basket, and he can pull up all the weather information, all the tracking, all the navigation he needs.
Incredible stuff. Watching all the weather, watching all the positions. And just to recap for people who are watching maybe for the first time, the wind, it's not all the same at different altitudes. It's like a pancakes, isn't it? There's winds at different levels, and it's negotiating them.
It is. And all the teams are working with a team in which that's in the backgrounds, that's telling them what directions that they need to go to get to the furthest distance on the map. Yeah. However, but it's not always the same at the same time of day.
Right.
So, for example, when the balloon cools down at night and they start to descend, they have to ballast and keep the flight track. However, as I was talking earlier, I saw Belgium 1 make a move, and it really interested me as to what they were looking to do. And I saw that it was just a minor correction. But even with that minor correction, you can see that the direction changed as well as the wind speed. So you have to stay on track in order to get the finish line and really get the greatest distance for the race.
Brilliant. If you're really enjoying the show, you can help. You can really get involved. All you've got to do is press like, smash that like button, and press share as well. The more we share, the more we get it out there. We're quite a niche sport, but we do have quite a good audience. But if you just like and share, that really, really helps us. We very much appreciate it. Now, let's check in with Nora and Brenda and USA 1.
So here we are, take 2 of the same video that we just tried to shoot. But something happened and it got messed up, so we're trying it again.
I don't think I pressed the button. I'll take the blame.
We are over the French countryside, and it is amazing and beautiful here. And it's your first time.
It's my first time in France, so we may not be touching down. We may, we'll see. But it is fantastic. I can't wait to fly here again. It's totally cool.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Pyrenees out in the distance. We'll see if we can find them. I can't remember. Oh, there they are. Behind us now. We keep spinning. We've been having a little bit of thermals here and there, a few scoops. But some beautiful lakes down there. And out in the distance, the foothills, I think, of the Pyrenees starting.
Yeah, it's absolutely breathtaking here. You really would. You would think that every single country looks exactly the same, but you really can tell a difference from one country to the next. This looks nothing like Amarillo, Texas, for example. This is very green, very luscious. You see the hills. You can see the vineyards. Beautiful.
So everything's well here. Our electrical solar panels are out. We're charging. Our Starlink is working well. We've got great comms for once. We've had a little bit of food today. Nothing. You're not too hungry. Some coffee. It was a cold night last night, down to about 32 Fahrenheit, which for those of you who never heard of Fahrenheit, that means damn cold. And yeah, it was. We were about 5,000 feet last night, between 2 inversion layers, just below the upper one, trying to maintain our track. But yeah, all well here in the basket of USA 1.
We are happy.
Yes.
Sure, Sam. And Brenda's been working really hard for a joint command center.
You know, that's very beneficial because you do have 3 USA teams here, and many other countries have multiple balloons competing in the race. So it's very valuable if you can consolidate your efforts and have a common command center that's providing weather information to all 3 teams simultaneously. And you're getting the same information. You can assist one another, call back and forth to give updates as to where you are in the sky. You know, and one of the other things that we just saw that was beneficial to the previous person who asked a question about how to get involved in this,
yes,
you literally just saw what it's like to do a long-distance flight in a gas balloon. You're just wondering how it is to be camping in the sky. Brenda and Noah just showed you what it's all about.
Absolutely wonderful. They were talking about the Starlink there and the technology, not so long ago, from 7,000 feet to do a live video call was really quite unheard of. And we tried for the first time with Noah and Brenda. It was freezing a few times and we had to get the call reconnected, but thanks to the clever editing skills of producer Mark, we've managed to put something together. Let's have a look. Joining me on the line, USA 1, Noah Ford and Brenda Cadishaw. Good afternoon, team.
Good afternoon.
Tell me what's happening right now.
We just had a little bit of a late lunch, and we're flying at about 7,000 feet. We're playing with some thermals a little bit, trying to avoid those, and flying over the beautiful French countryside. My first time in France ever, so pretty exciting for me.
So, team, it doesn't look like it's too cold. You seem to be wearing your summer clothes.
Yeah, it's nice. It's 72 degrees outside. The sun is shining. Perfectly clear out. We've got a nice shade right here in front of us, so it's wonderful.
Noah, Brenda, tell us about how we're doing this. How are we making this call from 7,000 feet?
So we're using a Starlink Mini, and for the first time in a Gordon Bennett, I believe, and it's a fairly small dish, about the size of a small tablet or a medium-sized tablet. Uses about 15-20 watts of power, and we're powering it with a 12-volt battery. So
yeah, it's very good when it's on. It's a little bit intermittent right now. What do you think is causing that?
we are in some thermals, and so the balloon is rotating quite a bit, and I think the Starlink is probably having a little bit of trouble tracking the satellites since we're moving so much. It's generally intended to be used in a fixed location where it's not moving at all.
Brenda, tell me about the launch.
It was really good. It definitely, some people had mentioned before something about it being emotional. It was really good. Definitely flying from a different country and hearing your own national anthem. I just don't think there's hardly anything that's more heart-filling than that moment, knowing that you're representing your country. It's pretty amazing.
It really is. Brenda, is there any special significance on that sweater?
Oh, no. There's not. My daughter gave me this probably like 9 years ago. It still works, so I still wear it.
Amazing, amazing. So, Brenda and Noah, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Regan, we'll catch up with you soon. Good to chat with you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye-bye.
USA 1, take care. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Good stuff indeed. Well, we do have our 8:30 show, which is, about 3 hours away from now. And that's one of the reasons we do that show, is to start to look at what's going to happen for the overnight story, Sam.
You know, it's interesting because you've got a very large mountain range right here that's at the southern end of France as you go into Spain. And it'll be interesting to see if any of the teams decide to land before that. So there's quite a bit of distance that you can see from where their current position is before they get to the mountain range. So a lot can happen. There's no indication of what's going to be the strategies yet. The teams don't tell us, but we'll be standing by in the command center in the event that we do get some phone calls about that.
Interesting stuff. Anything else coming through on social media, Producer Mike? Nothing at the moment. Well, Sam, thanks for joining us in the studio. A special little gift from our sponsors here. From it's a blazer, and it's great inside once you get in there as well.
Thank you very much, Regan. And actually, we appreciate what Blazer does. And the little goodies that are inside will be shared by those in the command center.
Just a little bit like, they're different than last year. Awesome, we're looking forward to it. All right, well, join us back here again for our evening show, 8:30 local time, 20:30. But for now, you can keep up with all the action live.gordonbennett.aero. From Sam, from me, we'll see you at 8:30.
Good day, all.